Okay, guys, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you through kind of some of the documents I shared with you all about how and discuss how you can study for the semester test. And again, there's going to be two portions of the exam. There's going to be the multiple choice, which will be 100 questions. They're going to be old questions that I've recycled. So they're going to be questions that you've already seen before from the old test that we're going to put back in and recirculate. So they will be all on topics that you've covered before. So that's first of all. So you got the 100 question part, and then you're going to write an essay for me also. Okay. And again, we've done the essays a few times throughout the year. I've let you do them for extra credit on the test. You need to pick one of these essays and complete it as well. So there will be a few options there for you on the essays. You can do one with the documents or you can do one without the documents. But so that'll be the two parts. So the multiple choice and then the essay itself, okay? So with the multiple choice part, they're all gonna be old questions. So just again, to kind of take you through some of the things I shared with you all. Let me get it pulled up here over the weekend. I shared with you this first one, which was called, "Hey, Miss Bond, how are you?" I shared with you this, which is called "How to Study for Your APUSH Semester Test," which again, title was not that creative, but you know. A few things I wanted to point out. You've got your online textbook, but for a test this large, it's going to cover this many chapters. I don't know that I would go back and reread the textbook. What I would do is I would go back and I would look at some of those discussion questions we went over in class. I would look over some of those assignments. What did we debate about, right? What were those debates? What were the two sides? Look at that apnotes.com or .net website where they just give you the high level overview. Skip down through it. If there's a part you don't remember, go back and find that part in the textbook. But don't try to reread 20 chapters worth of material. Just go in there and only do a deep dive in something that you don't remember much about. Here's my other piece of advice. When you're looking over your notes, when you're looking over apnotes.net, when you're looking back through the assignments, hopefully if you guys, you know, worked hard through your test throughout the semester, which I know you did, you're going to see things that will remind you of an old question. You're going to go, oh, well, he asked me like 3 questions about that on one of our tests. Okay, so think about that, look back over that, because of course that could pop back up. And again, I only ask you guys questions on the test over what you have to know for the AP exam. So you should see those type of questions reoccur there on that. Okay, so again, look over apnotes.net, look over your notes, look over the assignments, and then if you don't remember something, then go back to the textbook and dig in deeper, okay? Thesis, when it comes to writing the essay, again, guys, hopefully you know that thesis formula well. X, however, A, B, therefore, Y. I mean, that's really the part you need to feel comfortable with. Again, the rest of the essay flows from that. I've got multiple videos there in the platform for you guys to go back and watch if you need to watch those things. So just be aware that if you felt uncomfortable or you didn't really remember some of those aspects of writing an essay, go back and watch those videos. You know, I have those videos where I literally write an entire essay on the screen if it'll help you. But again, you're going to have a few prompts there. Pick one and write that essay and turn it in the platform, which you guys have done multiple times before. So again, like how do you cover all this stuff? Like how do you make sure you know it? Well, I'm going to show you like a study guide template that I kind of put together for you guys to kind of help you not only remember the multiple choice questions, but also the essay questions. But here's some kind of strategies. Now, first of all of you on this call have worked hard the whole semester. You guys know the drill. You guys have studied for the test. You guys have done a great job. Any of you listening, I hope you've done the same. If you have, find a partner that's done well. Again, you know, talk to them. How are they studying? Look at their notes, compare notes, talk about the different events. And again, you'll see on this study guide template, hey, what do you remember from this time period? You remember this president? What was important about that president? What else was going on when that person was president? And just go through and discuss it with your classmate, with your friend there. Also, try to remember old questions. Like again, you guys could go through and say, okay, period 1, here's some of the big topics. Do you remember any questions over period 1? Write them down. I mean, again, that's not cheating. That's fair game. If you remember an old question, that's great. That's awesome. Just put those together. And again, if you remember multiple questions about the same topic, again, there were a lot of questions about the Constitution. There were several questions about the Declaration of Independence. Obviously, think about what we've talked about with the Civil War. All of those things are obviously going to be testable because you've already received so many questions from them. So just put that together. And again, anytime you guys discuss those events that way and have that back and forth, it helps you remember it. Okay, it helps it stay in your head, but it also forces you to dig deeper and try to recall something, because the best way to study something is for you guys to actually remember it and then talk about it. There's something about, again, there's all these different type of studies that go over when you say something to somebody else and explain something to somebody else, you remember it better. Okay. So I think that's important, guys. Flashcards, guys, if there's some stuff you just don't remember, okay, you just don't remember. And again, this PowerPoint slide I shared with you will be really helpful in that, like if you're reading over it and you don't remember something, I'd go look it up and make some flashcards over it. So if there's a few specific things you can't remember, it's tough to beat a flashcard. It's kind of like Quizlet. Again, like Quizlet's really simple. Flashcards are really simple. Again, those are some things that you can do to really help you study in that way. I also recommend you guys do like a study agenda. Again, if you're studying with a friend, the bad thing is, like if y'all are friends and you get together and hang out on a Monday night, you're probably going to want to talk about a lot of other things other than U.S. history. As much as I hate to admit that, you probably are, right? You're going to talk about, I don't even know what's going on right now. I mean, there's no movies at the movie theater, so maybe you would talk about this. I don't know. Or you might play a video game or whatever it is kids do today. So it helps to have an agenda to say, hey, for an hour, we're going to do this. And for the first 30 minutes, we're going to look back at all of our materials. Then we're going to work on some essays together. And then we're going to talk about, we're going to go over the study guide together. Whatever that is, guys, and again, I don't mind helping you kind of develop that out. I think it's important because, again, I just hear so many times young people that get together to study and they go, well, I was at their house for 3 hours. And I ask, well, what did you do? And they're like, well, we kind of looked at our notes for a little bit and then we, did something else. Like, it helps to hold you accountable by having an agenda. And then my last piece of advice for you is to take some time to study by yourself. I know I just said, hey, find a partner, find a group. That's a great first step. It's very helpful to do that because it helps you get going. It helps you remember certain things you might have forgot. It helps kind of give you putting two heads together. That way, hey, if Peyton remembers something but Carson didn't, hey, when you get together, you can remind each other and help you identify what you might have forgotten. But then you need to just go spend some time by yourself, looking over your study guide, looking over your notes, and just think through it. Again, just think to yourself, do I remember this? Do I not? If you don't, dig into it further. If you do, that's great. Move on to the other stuff. But again, guys, the difference between studying for a comprehensive test and a chapter test or unit test are different, because a unit test, you can almost go back and flip through the book and just look through the different things. You can't do that for 20 chapters, okay? So what you gotta do is you gotta focus high level. What do I know? What do I don't know? And if you don't know something, really pinpoint it and get it. And guys, by the way, I'm telling you, like these study tips, this isn't just for like US history. Like that's just universal. I'm giving you tips on how do you study for long comprehensive exams. Okay, so this works kind of universally, but again, for the specific things we're covering in class, you really need to identify the things that you don't remember, and you really want to make sure that you can work together to remember as many questions from the old test as possible. Okay, so that's like my high level view of like how you study. Now I want to do a little bit more in depth. Okay, so before I move into like the study guide and the PowerPoint, are there any questions over this part? Okay, no questions. That means I either covered it really well or I covered it so badly that you don't even want to ask a question about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at so this is, again, like, I know you're probably going to look at this and go, well, thanks, you really didn't give us much. But I think this is a great way to organize your thoughts. I did this last year with students. Remember, like COVID hit just 8 weeks before the AP exam, and kids were freaking out. And what I did is I just kind of organized it in this way, and we worked together on it. So I encourage you all here on the call live, if you want to work together, like make a copy of this and just do it as a group, that's great. Like however you want to do this is fine. But the way I've organized it here is we covered 5 periods in this first semester, okay? And I've got the period and I've got the time up there at the top, okay? Then underneath it, I have the big themes, okay? Really the big themes, and it's like, I always remember like spice tea, okay? So you have society. What was going on in society? So that can mean, civil rights. That can mean immigration. Anything like that. That's going to be under your society. Politics, elections, political parties, constitutional conventions, things like that. That would all fall under politics. Then the next one, interaction with foreign countries. What was going on in foreign policy? Was there a war? Was there not a war? Was there a major treaty? Was there an invasion, right? Like, how was America interacting with its neighbors? Okay, that might even just be Mexico and Canada, right? So what was going on in this time period there? Next, culture. What was going on in the culture? Culture, again, you could probably, honestly, it's probably best if I do culture / religion. I mean, some people include that in there, so it's kind of controversial. So I'll just put them both together. But like, to me, culture / religion, culture includes religion, but just to be clear there, these are different things that are going on during that time, right? So you can have a cultural movement that could mean, this could be women's role in the home. This could be, it could be religious factors like the First Great Awakening, the Second Great Awakening, anything like that. This is, again, culture is more of how are people living, okay? So society is more of your classes, who's living where, who's doing what. Culture is more of how are they living, not where, not how much money, but what does it look like and how did that change? And also remember, guys, over time we talked about the Americans were unique. Remember in the first time period, we talked about these immigrants that came over, right? We talked about the Pilgrims. We talked about how they were different. We talked about the Native Americans, and we talked about what their society was like. So think about culture and religion all mixed in there into that one. Next is the economy. How was the economy doing in this time period? Was it growing? Were the rich getting richer? Was the middle class growing? Were most people farmers? Were most people in industry? Like, those are the type of questions I think you ask yourself under the economy area. Then lastly, technology. What were the technological advances? Were there a lot of inventions? What were they? Did they impact some broader society of the time? How was technology affecting people's way of life? These are all questions that you can answer there under technology. So what I've given you here is just go down through each column. I would start off, again, if you want to do it as a group, that's great. I'd go through each one. What do you remember about society in 1491 to 1607? Type it right in there. Let's just talk it out for a second. What do you guys remember us talking about the society from 1491? Remember, 1491, we're talking about Columbus sails, if you remember the old little jingle, Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, right? So this is just the onset of Columbus coming to America to 1607, that's the settlement of Jamestown. So what did we see going on then? What was going on in society? I'd say explorers, right? This is the age of Coronado, DeSoto. This is them coming into America. New relations with Native Americans. Very good, Allison. So we got interactions with Native Americans. Okay, absolutely. That helps define this period, really, right? Is the interactions with Native Americans. Okay, what else? I'm going to put settlements, right? Like, this is them trying to survive. They're trying to come up with their settlements. Remember, this might even help you. I mean, this is like, when you think about Thanksgiving, you think about the Pilgrims' interactions there. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about Pocahontas, John Smith. I mean, I'm just, again, I would sit here and when you guys go over this together and when you're looking at this, I would put it all out there. I would just put everything that you can remember on the screen. Innovations. Okay, very good. Well, you see innovations when it comes to, remember we talked about how were they growing crops? How were they developing those things? Now, politics, guys, remember, I mentioned this earlier in the settlements, but what do we have starting to happen? They were colonies, right? They weren't states yet. They weren't even really cities. They were colonies. Okay, they were British colonies. They were Spanish colonies. So remember, they looked like, I would put, they looked like their country of origin, right? I mean, they set up some of their governments to look like where they came from. Okay, that was just simply what it was, because that's who they were. They weren't Americans. They were English colony. They were a Spanish colony. So that's what they look like. And again, guys, I'll keep going down through here just to give you some more examples. Interactions with foreign countries. I would say, well, you had the Spanish, the English, we had the Dutch competing to, I'll put this in quotes, discover new land, right? So that was, a lot of the interactions there is this back and forth. They're trying to discover these areas, remember who had what. Again, you might want to go back and look at some of the maps and some of the things that we discussed over that on who was in what territories. Again, that may help a lot too, just to, again, go back over and again, flip through those things. Another thing, I forgot to mention this earlier, but remember those short little videos at the beginning of every chapter? Again, they give you a great example of, do you remember everything in that video? Like, did that ring a bell? Did it not? Very good, Allison. Columbian Exchange. I'll add that on here as well. I think that's absolutely very important. Very good, very good. I can't spell other than that. Culture and religion. Remember, guys, we talked a lot about this. Remember when we had the big debate about, was it economic reasons or was it religious reasons for them coming over? Remember, their religion was very important for them. Remember, they felt like they were oppressed. A lot of times there was an English civil war going on between the Protestants and the Catholics. That was a big reason for them coming over. So you had, these were a lot of Protestants. They were pilgrims. Remember what pilgrims mean? Pilgrims mean you're leaving something. Like you're an outcast. They were religious outcasts, okay? Economic, remember, a lot of them were poor, trying to make money. That's why they risked everything to come over. They knew there was land. They knew there was potential there. The technology we're talking about, again, remember when we're talking about technology during that time period, what did we see, guys? Like, do you guys remember what was the technology when we're talking about 1400s to early 1600 there? What do you think we really were? I mean, I want you to just think, again, as I'm going over this, guys, if you guys ever get stuck on something or like, well, I'm not really sure, I'd start with what you for sure remember. Like, guys, like, they were on wooden ships, navigation with compass and inaccurate maps, right? I mean, yeah, they knew which direction they were going. They didn't even know there was a country where Columbus landed. So again, you're starting from what you know. And this is why, again, I think it's great to do the study guide with a friend. I think it's great for you all to get together and say, just fill it out together. And so that way you can see what all you remember. And that way you can also see, well, this area, I don't even remember anything about, let's say you get to one area and you say, there you go, Allison, great specific there. Europeans had access to metal, but Native Americans didn't. That's a great specific example to use there. But guys, you might get to like period 2 and go, I can't remember anything about politics from period 2. Okay, well, that might be a great time to reach out to one of your classmates, or it might be a great time for you to go back into period 2, go back and watch that intro video and see if that helps ring a bell. Then if not, flip back through that book, look at apnotes.net. And again, this is a great way for you to see what you know. I would start off, just see what you remember, see what you can put on there. And then it'll help you identify, hey, I need to go back and do some extra time in this. I need to go back and make sure that I see this as well. Okay, so now I want to show you guys, and again, another, I think, beneficial way to go back through here is, I got these PowerPoints a couple years ago, and what we did was, and let me pull it up here so you can see it while I'm talking about it. So what I did was I took all the presidents and let Let me start the slideshow here so you can see it better. So what I did was I took all the presidents and I put them on this PowerPoint slide, and I just took like, hey, what era did they live in, and what all happened when they were president that was important. Okay, it's really like high level, so it's not super specific, but it does give you some good details. Like here you got George Washington. I give you the years he was president, tell you the era in which he lived. Then I just break down, hey, these were some political developments that happened. The Judiciary Act of 1789. Yeah, this is what created the judiciary. It's what created the courts, the Whiskey Rebellion. Remember when everyone got mad that they taxed whiskey? You had the Federalist Party and the Democratic Republican Party. Those were the two parties of the day. Remember, he warned about settling into two political parties, but it happened anyway. And then I have some of the economic developments. Again, you have the First National Bank. You have Samuel Slater's factory. This is the cotton gin. That's a big invention. Okay, so again, a big invention of that era is the cotton gin. That's very, very important, very, very impactful. And you look down, social and cultural developments, Republican motherhood, that was a phrase there from that chapter. And foreign policy, you had the French Revolution, you had Jay's Treaty and Pinckney's Treaty. Those were two of the first big treaties in American history. And so, again, I share this with you. I share it with you just to show you, again, you can look down through those PowerPoints and see some of the specific things that happened. And maybe you remember them, maybe you don't. But if you don't remember them, those are some good key terms and key phrases to look back up and see if you do remember them, okay? So again, all these are, and I'm gonna pull it back up one more time for you here, is just, let's see, we've got, John Adams. Again, I tell you what were the big political things that happened. What were the big social and cultural developments? Okay, so we got the Second Great Awakening here. Now, by the way, I do want to point out that the only bad thing about it is, remember, we have quite a bit of history before the first president. Okay, so I'm doing that with the presidents because I think it's easier for you all to kind of connect it to a president, but you might want to spend some time looking into that first and second time period, because look, it's going to be all the way up to period 3 before you have your first president. So period 1 and period 2, you're not going to have presidents. You're going to have the Articles of Confederation. Okay, you're going to have a war with Great Britain. You're going to have these colonies that exist for a long time before even the Articles of Confederation come along. So again, getting that background, and then from period 3 on, I think you start looking at those PowerPoint slides, and I think it helps redirect you on those things. And I even linked here at the bottom of this sheet here. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys the Fiveable, but I did link it here. So what Fiveable does is if you click on the unit, and again, I think they do a pretty good job here. I don't know about these games and stuff, but when you click on one of these, it takes you here, and this is kind of like, see, you can kind of see the exam, and then they always like want you to message them, but so yeah, it just takes you through what was going on at the time period. It gives you a little quick, hey, what native societies before Europeans, it tells you all this. Then it kind of does a breakdown for you. So you kind of know where all the different native peoples lived, what they were like, and then you can even click, let me see, there was even notice it tells you they're all about like these 3-minute reads. I mean, they're really short. There you go. I have these little timelines for you. Here's the major explorers in the New World. So again, I think it's good. I think it's a good, I hope you guys could see that. I know when I clicked off that, you might not have been able to see it, but just let me share it with you one more time. But this is the Fiveable website. So yeah, there's their timeline. You click on the different unit, and they even give you some multiple choice questions if you want to practice. So anyway, they've been a good resource. I've used them for the last few years, just showed students if they wanted to try it, see if it helps them at all. And then the other one is the APNotes.net, which again, I've talked to you guys quite a bit about that. So I think that that's not a surprise for you all. But again, it's great because at the top, they've got the timeline, hey, what happened here? And then they kind of walk you through these events. And again, you got the main, the key terms are either underlined or in bold. And they usually have they usually have a list there at the end too of some events in the years. So again, I always think that that's pretty, the chronology, there you go. So I think that's a great way too to, hey, if you look over the study guide and you don't know one of those time periods, it's always good to look back over that, so that way you're not looking back through a whole textbook or something like that. Okay, I just did a lot of talking. When do we take the test? So you all, I'm trying to remember your schedule. What is y'all's schedule? Are they allowing you to take it from, isn't it distance learners are one day and everybody else shows up to school for the other day or something? So I know Allison is you're doing distance learning, so you can, yeah, you're quarantined again. I mean, you're quarantined like half the times I ever talk to you. I feel like you're quarantined. So you can take it, Allison, during that time period. Okay, whatever time that test is supposed to be. I am just going to kind of keep it where it's locked down until that time. So if you'll just take it at that time, and Allison, if that's a problem, just shoot me an email, okay? Because if I got to open it up for another time for you, that's fine. But yeah, you guys just take it during the class time assigned to you. And again, if you guys need something from me, if you guys have any additional questions, again, if this would be helpful to jump back on here again, if you'll tell me, again, I can make that work. It might have to be kind of either in the morning or kind of a later one like this, but I can definitely do that if it's helpful. And if you want any more links or any more kind of attachments or whatever else, I can send them your way as well. So Allison, reach out to me if I can be of any assistance or if we need to change that up. But everybody else, you'll just take it during that time that's assigned with the whatever that semester test schedule is. So guys, sorry I talked a lot. Is there anything that you guys have for me at this point?
Will it be on that OK Charter website like all of our other assignments?
Yep. You'll just take it on that. Let me even share it with you here, just so. So it'll be on. Yeah, you'll go to the platform here, and yep. So you'll just go on there, click on the APUSH history, and then it'll have its own section. So it'll be by itself. It shouldn't have anything else there. It'll say fall semester exam, and it'll be, like I said, when that time comes, I'll make it where you can just click on it and it'll open up. Okay, Allison did ask, would the test be over the questions that we've already seen? Yes. So these are old questions that, again, we've recycled and put in a new order, but they're all questions from old exams. Good question.
Are we allowed to have any study material when we take the test?
No. You need to you're just gonna have to do as best you can there in the classroom setting there. Because I believe all of you, except for Allison, will be at school. So yeah, just do as best you can. Okay, guys, like I said, while you're setting, if you have a question, shoot me an email again. I'll make sure to check that. Yeah, Allison, it's like a 60-minute, I think it's 55-minute on the essay. So it's the same as the AP exam. So it'll be I believe it's 55-minute there for the essay there. Good questions. If you guys have any other questions, like I said, feel free to shoot them my way. I'll be sure to check my email tonight in the morning. If there's anything that you all need from me, just reach out there. And like I said, even while you're looking over this stuff, if it's even kind of content specific, just holler at me and ask. Appreciate you all jumping on tonight. I hope it was helpful. And again, good luck. And like I said, if there's anything here while you're looking over this for the next couple days here, just like I said, and if we want to do something like this again, if we want something more specific, if you completed a study guide and you want me to kind of jump on with you and go over the answers and just see if there's anything missing or anything like that, again, we could even do that too. So again, just feel free to shoot me an email if you guys want to do anything like that, okay? All right, guys, well, good luck, and I will talk to you all soon.